you have a hesitation to therapy, or was it just a resistance, or what contributed to that?
So yeah, we didn't grow. Like I said, in our household, we didn't talk about our feelings. We didn't talk about any of that stuff. There was, like I said, my dad was strict and also had a temper. So I had that temper. And so Quentin was more, quiet, and he wanted to talk about things where I'm like,
Yeah.
But I will say, for any couples out there, you can do marital counseling, you can do premarital counseling. It's not until you start to heal yourself that you actually can be fully present in your marriage.
Yep.
And so I would say we got married in 2016, got pregnant in 2017, or 2016, had our baby in 2017. And so now we are welcoming this new baby along with the child that we already had. And she's 8 at this point. Is she 8?
Oh, when QJ was born?
QJ was born, I think she was 8 by this point. And so she was having to transition from going to 2 different households, and then now here's this child who gets to stay in the house with 2 parents. And she didn't know how to verbalize that, and so we dealt with a lot, plus tension from, having to co-parent along with that. But, and so I was going through a lot of postpartum, and then jumping, full into marriage. What was marriage? Like, we both didn't really know what this thing meant. We just knew that we had done this thing. You spent all these months planning for this big, elaborate occasion, but you don't plan that time planning for your life. And so after the wedding, I had, like, they call it wedding blues. And so for, like, I think after our honeymoon, when I came back, I think reality started to hit on our honeymoon. And after I came back, it was just kind of like a downward spiral for me. Even though, like, I had gotten pregnant and we were excited about welcoming a baby boy, I was still dealing with a lot of stuff, and I didn't know how to communicate that. And so I started my healing journey in 2018. The latter part of 2018, I started seeing a therapist myself, and I've been working with her since that time, and I'm still working with her. I just saw her last week. Same one.
I love that. Yeah.
And I was scared. I was scared, and at that point, I had seen, like I said, we had done premarital counseling. Our premarital counselor was white. She still had a great outlook on marriage and everything like that, but I don't think that she could really, like, step into our situation. There was that culture barrier. Like, things are different. The way that marriage is seen in Black America is different. And so finally getting a Black therapist, a woman at that, who could understand what my struggles were, what the history of, somebody being present in the home, all of those things, she could speak to, but she spoke to the inner child who needed to be healed from all the stuff that she had experienced. And once I started healing her, I was able to show up in conversations as the woman and not respond to him as the 12-year-old girl who had been damaged. And I think that saved us. And then he started getting therapy with a Black man who was able to tell him the truth about himself and speak to
look
his,
at that. She
his
this wasn't even about me.
Right. This was your segment.
and speak to the little boxes he had put his feelings in to not have to deal with. Not having a father present, and now having a wife, and then having a mother. There was tension with me and my mother-in-law, and that was hurting him. And so those were different points of contention in our household. Like, we had to deal with, and we had to deal with them head on. And so
we like I told you my thoughts about marriage before. I like to tell this story that really made me feel better about, like, what we were embarking on. We had already been engaged. My stepbrother also proposed to his now wife around the same time I proposed to her, and but they were already 2 children in.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? They had twins. Yeah, they had already had twins before he proposed, right? So he had a lot of pressure on him. So anyway, that's back home in Little Rock. So they had gotten married before us. So we were at their wedding and we had a blast. Like we got so wasted. It was like we just had so much fun.
Yeah.
But it was one point in time I was standing in line at the bar, and there was a brother next to me or in front of me that I had known. He was married to a woman that I grew up with in my church that I was really good friends with coming up, and I told him like, yeah, about to get married, man. Like, and you know. You drunk, so you having like
Absolutely.
you more open to like a philosophical conversation. You know what I'm saying?
Too deep.
Yeah.
I ain't even tight with you like that.
Right. But we both drunk. So like he went it. So I'm like, bro, like, man, I'm having. This is what I think about. I just did something to this. I don't know. So I'm like, man, this is how I felt about, you know what I'm saying, marriage, bro. Like, what, you know what I'm saying? Tell me what it's like for you. Like, how is it? You know what I'm saying? And I think they were maybe
20 something.
They were maybe 5. They were 5 years in at the time.
Oh, I thought it was more than that.
No. He was young like us.
Okay.
But they were like already 5 years in. He was like, bro, I'm like, this is the happiest. Like, he was basically telling me like that he was the happiest he had ever been. You know what I'm saying? In his marriage with his wife, and that it was the worst at first. You know what I'm saying? And he was just kind of talking about their journey and how they got to this point where like they were like best friends. And like it was such a genuine moment. Like I knew that brother. Like,
that's good.
Like,
I'm glad
he was
told
just,
you the good.
Like he was just vibrating at this level. Like I was like, bro. Yeah. This is the one person that's sold marriage to me. Like out of all my homeboys, that's been like.
You gotta have somebody that did it right.
Like so he just right. He made it. He helped me know that like it was possible. You know what I'm saying? To be happy in this thing. You know what I'm saying? And so I was really encouraged by that conversation, and I think that was kind of maybe some of the beginning to like a new idea. You know what I'm saying? A new thought of what of marriage, and I think for me. It's been a lot of growth in that area. Like I do a lot of work in like want to improve like quality of life for my people. You know what I'm saying? People of color in Oklahoma City, Little Rock, like throughout the diaspora. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like we got a lot of challenges. You know what I'm saying? Like I grew up challenged with like fatherlessness. You know what I'm saying? Like Pops was around, but he didn't raise me, right? And pretty much all of my homeboys that I grew up with had the same thing. You know, none of us had dads. And that's like perpetuating or being perpetuated would be basically the real destruction of like us as a people. Yeah. And so, you know, a lot of us decided like we were gonna commit to being great fathers if we had kids. But I felt like really the investment needed to be in the institution. You know what I'm saying? In an institution that facilitated that. And so as like I matured as a man, like I started to buy into marriage more so, I started to buy into marriage and feel less tied to like the selfish reasons, that like the selfish conflicts, because it became a bigger picture thing to me. It became like this is the way like we're going to advance our community. It's like by is with black marriage. You know what I'm saying? Like this is the way, like this commitment. And so like whether or not I took out the trash or I washed the dishes or whatever, like those things are important. Like in the moments, you know what I'm saying. But what's more important, I think, is staying together. So like these two can see success. You know what I'm saying. And so that so that more families can be successful, right?
you got me over smiling because, like, literally,
Share.
like, I just recently, like, the past 2 years, like, I was you. Like, she got her master's.
Yeah.
I had just stopped. I had stopped going to school right when we got together.
Yeah.
So I had never finished school.
Yeah.
So over like the past 2 years, I had started going to therapy in 2020, 2019. Was it 2019?
2020.
Was it before Noah got here?
No.
It was after? Okay.
Yes.
Regardless, I started going to therapy then. I like, it kind of changed my life. Like I was see y'all kind of you talk to your thing. It's like, yeah, like I had a lot of stuff that I hadn't worked out. My story was kind of flipped. My mom wasn't really around. I grew up with my dad. So it was like I just had a lot of that stuff that I was carrying on and stuff like that. So regardless, I started going through that journey, and then it kind of led to Ode to Black Love, and then I was like, all right, like I'm starting to like walk in my purpose. Like this started to kind of be my purpose. Like I never really had anything that I just like I felt like this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
Right.
It's always kind of be like, this can make some money, so let me do this. Like kind of situation. Like I'm kind of just like chasing a buck or just trying to like chase what society would have for me per se. And I was like, I made it in my mind. Like I'm going back to school because I want to be a therapist. But the message that I preach is building back the Black family. I want to build up the Black man for sure. But building the Black family to me is the key to building the Black community.
Yeah.
I was like, it's a lot of like issues like wealth and just mental health and stuff like that two-parent households, like statistics don't tell everything, but there are statistics out there that show like, hey, this two-parent situation. If you look at people's lineage and how different cultures and different people, especially white people, how money get passed and how children start at a different, when you have two parents, income, stuff like that. And it's like, I feel like you were saying that, I'm like, man, that's what I've been preaching. Like anytime I bump into somebody and they're like, what are you doing? Like, this is what I want to do. Like, I feel like if you build back the Black family, you build back the Black community and make it stronger. And that's how you have that longevity. So, I'm over here smiling. You saying that, I'm like, look, see, I ain't even be speaking out loud about it, but I'm like, he's saying everything that I believe in.
It's a fact, man, and it's like marriage makes you like if you stay in it long enough, like you start to get over yourself.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? And so and that was what was happening with her and her journey, but like in mine, in my journey as well, in a different way. Not get over herself, but she was like getting through her traumas and growing. And growing. You know what I'm saying? And like so me in the same way. So now it's like I'm bought into marriage for different reasons. So like before I couldn't see why because I was being selfish about things. I always did have like a certain consciousness about community, but like it wasn't until you got in the thing and when you have that child in your hand, you like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Like,
it's different.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's different,
It's
right?
different.
And so again, that's a big reason. Like it's important for me to pour into platforms like this, right? So
I'm just gonna let that pass. I didn't want to like derail us, but we over here looking at each other like, look, he's saying,
I'm
sound like
I
me.
feel German's cheese on my cheek. I'm like,
he sound like
on,
me.
just
Look.
get that.
Doctor.
that's what it is, man.
I'm just playing. So that, like I said, that's beautiful, and I mean we can sit here and talk all day, but
and that kind of brings us, I feel like, closer to today. So y'all brought another baby in, and you're about to bring another one in. So how has it been, like being pregnant, and then?
It's been exhausting.
Yeah.
Especially now. So about community, when we first got married and he started doing community work.
Yes.
I was jealous.
Okay.
And I've learned that jealousy isn't necessarily a bad thing.
Sure ain't. Yep. It's a human emotion.
Yeah, but I was jealous because of the time it was taking away.
Yeah.
From our household and whatever we were trying to do, which I really didn't know at that point. But what I failed to see was that it was such a passion of his, and my job was supposed to be the support, like, at that point. But like he said, I hadn't gotten over myself at that point. So I'm like, you need to be home. Where are you at? It's time to eat.
Pulling up to the studio.
Yeah. What are you doing? And so in that, I think I would say that a lot. And I'm like, this is what's going to rip us apart. Like, you trying to do all this stuff out here, but you're not doing this stuff in here. I felt like. But what I didn't know was that stuff out there was going to help the stuff in here and vice versa. And so I think now, a few years into the community work, it has taken him out of the house. You know, there are days that we don't see him till like 9, 10 p.m. sometimes. But I had to make the conscious decision that I'm going to hold down the household while he does this, because I know what it's going to mean for the future of our household and the impact that we're going to make in the community. And so I think what I did was, so there's a scripture that says, I think Dre quoted it, one of his best friends, Dre was like, you know, there's something wrong with a quarrelsome wife. You know, like we don't want to, I forgot what the scripture, I need to go back, but a husband does not like a quarrelsome wife. So if you are, if your husband's coming home all the time and you're always picking a fight with him, or you're always like, he's coming out from doing all this stuff and the first thing you do is like, you know,
attack,
it's going to drive a wedge in between your marriage, and it's going to pull y'all further apart. And there were some times where we were kind of drifting away. And I remember marriage counseling, like, you know, we were told, like, here y'all are, and here all this stuff is. If y'all continue to do, you're going to, you know, marriage is full of peaks and valleys. Y'all got to decide how y'all going to get back, you know. But I think once we decided, like, you gonna do what you need to do, and then I'm gonna be here to support, which meant working full time, being in school, working on my master's, raising 2 kids, cooking, cleaning, running them back and forth to games or whatever. But allowing him to do what he needed to do, or what he needs to do, I think is important, because at the end of the day, he's the leader of our household, like I said. And all of this stuff that he's doing right now is it has come back full circle already, but it's going to impact our family way more than I could ever imagine. So it's important to be selfless in a way, I guess, and allow him to do what he needs to do. But it took a while to get to that point. Like, I was like, I ain't trying to do this. Like, I'm out, you know?
So yeah, with the but like, what it's like with the children now, like at home, I think she's obviously carrying a lion's share of responsibility at home, and that's I don't think that's necessarily exactly how I envisioned it to be. I think we're in a season where where it's kind of required. But I definitely envision more of a share of responsibility. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that she's kind of come to a maturity level to be able to allow for for it to be this way in this season, I think makes it possible. Like literally makes it possible for me to do. The work that I'm doing is for her to be good with it. You know what I'm saying? And so like, it's so when I am home, it's not bickering about not being home. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I can do my little part. You know what I'm saying? And during this season, right? So right now, that means I get to maybe bathe my son. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, I get to come in and like lay down some discipline. You know what I'm saying? Like they do get the best of us sometimes. So I come in like, yo, you know. But it's like having children to me was like the game changer. You know what I'm saying? It was everything. You know what I'm saying? I think Nadia, being fortunate enough to have her initially as a stepdaughter, gave me some, you know, allowed me to, I don't know, maybe train and start to, you know what I'm saying, start to learn how to be less selfish. She's not in our house. She's like half the time. You know what I'm saying? So there is a difference between like once QJ was born, and he's there every day, and there's not any conflict, you know. Like he can give his full love and affection to us. You know what I'm saying? Versus, you know, it could be different in other cases. You know what I'm saying? And so it's very different, man. And so, it's just I think it's what we live for.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's why the institution is important.
Absolutely.
That's why you start to become selfless, is because
Yeah.
you're thinking about them, like what you want. You know, like you got
Yep.
endless possibilities for them.
Yep.
Like what you want to be possible for them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm just not trying to hold you back. That's
Right,
what
Yeah.
right. I
Yeah.
definitely want you to be able to stand on
Yeah.
my shoulders, and I want to be able
Come
to push
on
you up
and
here,
give
you
you
know.
a push.
So they're inspiration. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so I have a question for y'all because you spoke about being in a season where things may not be as balanced as you would like them to be in the future. How do y'all make sure to provide each other with the other needs during this season? And I ask that because we're kind of in the same season almost. Jeremy going back to school, he's just not going to be as present, and that's okay. But we still have to make sure we are fulfilling each other. So what do y'all do to kind of keep that?
Yeah, there's
balance?
some things like I fall off track. Sometimes you don't.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? It
Yep.
doesn't get done to the
That's
extent that
real.
it needs to be. I realized that. So you try to set certain things up like a date night. You know what I'm saying? And try to make it like, so I guess that's the approach. To answer your question straight up, that's the approach. Like try to set some boundaries for some time
Yes.
that's untouchable. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
So what we try to do is set a date night, like every other weekend when our daughter isn't there. We'll like send QJ to his grandparents, and then
Yeah.
like we'll have a couple days where it's just us, right?
Yeah.
So that, and then I made a commitment to be home by 6:00 on the days that our daughter is here. You know what I'm saying? And so those are some things.
Basketball with QJ on Wednesdays.
Yeah, and I get to spend time with QJ on Wednesdays. So those are some things. Also, like we took a vacation in the summer, but it was there that I realized, like, well, I shouldn't say realize. It was there, like that was powerful for me because a lot of times in this season when I'm home, I'm still not as present.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because there's so much right now.
Yeah.
There's so much, like it's the most that I'm always into a lot.
Yeah.
But this 2022 has been the most I've ever been
Yeah.
into. And so I'm working basically 7 days a week, like between Kindred, job, and nonprofit, and opportunities. I'm working 7 days a week, like 12 hours a day. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like there's something always on the brain, like what didn't get done, like what.
Yeah.
And so when we went on vacation, it was just us. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like it's just us in the pool.
Yeah.
You know, the phone is over there, and like I get to teach him how to swim, or I get to teach him how to do this, and it was just like I could see it in them, like how much they appreciated my presence.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so it was like, I don't know, it was really impactful. Like it was really, it was something like, we got to get out, like Quintin, you got to get out of this season.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I was feeling that beforehand. I would always tell her, like every day, like, thank you so much for all that you're doing. You know, I know this is a busy season. Like I'm trying to figure out how to slow it down, like how to get past it. Like I would say those things, but after that trip, I'm like, you know,
Gotta
Yeah.
figure it
I gotta
out.
figure it
This
out.
is what's
man.
important. Yeah.
I gotta
Ooh,
figure it
that's
out quick.
beautiful.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm still trying to figure it out. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Facts,
You know,
facts.
because these opportunities are out there, and like, you know, you see sometimes on, I think I saw an Instagram post, it talks about like as a father, like this season, this time span of like when you're around 40, like all of the experiences that you have built up like this certain expertise,
Yeah.
and this expertise opens up
Yeah.
opportunity, right? And so, but you're physically still able to take advantage of those opportunities, and you're wise enough. You know what I'm saying? But this is also when you got young children and they need you, you the most. So you gotta like balance between, you know what I'm saying, those opportunities which you may not be able to leverage the exact same way as this moment right here, and then in the same with the chances with your children. And so it's something that like I'm not balancing well right now, but like I know it's there. It's something that I want to balance.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a struggle. Like it's a
Yeah.
struggle and a challenge.
Yeah.
Like she was saying, we definitely kind of stepped into that season since I started. I started going back to school in January, and so it's just like we finally off of the summer break or whatever, and I'm back in class, and we just trying to figure it out again. I mean, it's okay, but like you said, just trying to make sure it don't necessarily get away from you, especially because it's like when you're doing your own thing, sometimes you could just be like, shit, I need to get my thing done, and then I'm gonna try to make sure I do that over there and try to while I'm trying to do this, but like you said, just understanding what's important and putting aside that time.
Absolutely.
Like you said, that's something I feel like we bad about. We always
we say it.
we
say
say it
we're
and we
gonna
might do it, and then we kind of slack off.
Yeah.
And then 1 week
Our
will
therapist's
pass.
been on us about that.
Yeah, she be on our head about it, but I really,
when you don't, so like that's what I noticed about her. Like she been real patient about this time, but like if we miss a date that week, you know what I'm saying? The next week, it's like, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It ain't right.
So much.
It ain't right that next week, and like when neither one of us know why it ain't right. Like but she like I can tell she mad. Like she's a lot less patient that
Today.
next week. And I'm like, you know what? We didn't have that date. Like you know what I'm saying? Last week.
That's funny.
You know what I'm saying? So like you gotta
Y'all
stay on schedule. You know what I'm saying? You gotta stay on schedule.
We haven't had a date night. It's been a minute.
The kids wasn't there last weekend. Remember you said QJ? So sometimes we just chill. Like
she said that ain't enough. That sounds like you.
Shut up.
Chilling at home is not a date.
No. Yeah,
No, I'm just
I
playing.
didn't say that.
at this point, I take what I can get. Because I know he's tired.
Yeah.
Like, he's exhausted. I think it was one Sunday, a couple Sundays ago, where he was about to come into Kindred and he like fell asleep so hard. Like I don't know if I've ever seen him sleep this hard.
Just not.
But I was like, man, he's exhausted, and it's not my job to be like tearing him down because of that. I just, grace, patient.
But she did it at the same time, bro. Bro, I talked about how much I had going on. Same time, she was finishing her master's like earlier in the year. She was finishing her master. We had another situation that we were dealing with, and then the pregnancy, and then our full-time job. So it's like we both had. You know what I'm saying?
Just busy.
Running.
Yeah, and like leading into the year, we didn't know what it was gonna be like because that past November we were pregnant and we had a miscarriage, and he was it was the beginning of that season, and we had to work through that because I dealt with a lot of it kind of alone, so we had to talk about that, and then boom, we were pregnant again. We pregnant again. I think we found out in February. Was it January, February, latter end of
January?
I had fractured my foot. I was in a boot for 8 weeks.
It was a rough time. Yeah.
I was in the first trimesters. I was sick. I was tired.
Yeah, car accident.
Car
Almost
accident.
Oh my gosh.
I was nearing the end of my master's, so I was writing a whole bunch of papers. The kids were still in school.
Yeah.
So when he wasn't there, I was running back and forth to pick them up.
It's a pandemic going on.
It's a pandemic. And then the stress of like, oh my God, are we going to make it past 11 weeks this time? All of those things.
Everything,
all of those things kind of came down, but I think, I don't know, prayer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Y'all here?
Throughout it all, man. Like throughout it all though, like we proud of us. You know what I'm saying? Like we still here. And I think I think last year, this was so marriage was tough, like on and off. You know what I'm saying? But like when we made it to our 5th year anniversary, I was so proud of us. You know what I'm saying? Because we look back. And it was like, there was time we didn't think we were going to make it, like literally.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Felt like we were at the brink.
Ready to sign
You know what I'm
papers.
saying? But we made it. And we got friends that, now we look back, we got friends that come to that point. Like the same point like my homeboys was at, you know what I'm saying? When I talked about earlier. And we can say with all like, in a genuine fashion, like, bro, we get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I can't tell you I know a formula, you know?
Yeah.
we just stuck with it and we made it. We made it
all
through
about
it. You know what I'm
effort.
saying?
Yeah.
But like we were at that point when it could have been. You know what I'm saying? It could have been over and done with, and like we stayed committed. And I think those were those points when I was, when I clung to like it's bigger than me.
Yeah.
Right. And so we share that with others. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like for you fighting for more than you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like, so we were so proud to make that milestone and move beyond it. I think from then it's kind of been more uphill, or it's just kind of been a different relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's great.
I shouldn't say uphill. I guess we were like more at a peak. Like we've been trending.
Yeah.
Trending
Trajectory.
up.
I got what you're saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, not uphill as in hard.
Right.
But as in
Right.
like trending up. Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly.
No. Man, y'all dropped in a lot of like knowledge.
Gems and
you
knowledge.
know, like I said, like I really appreciate it because it's like
Thanks.
we ain't did this in a while, and it's like, dang, like it's
I'm
kind of feel like the
I
old
miss
times,
this.
like
Yeah.
'Cause it's like, oh yeah, like we always get something out of these or get reminded of something like, damn, like we do need to do that, or we do need to do that, you know. So like I really appreciate y'all for dropping that knowledge. It's really like I said, I
Absolutely.
ain't trying to be like that's deep, but you know, like that's really
But it was.
it's really good
It
stuff.
is. It really is, and I think, like I said, you. So I don't know. I don't know where I got this analogy, if I made it up myself, but I use it a lot about marriage, where I say, so marriage is like this one big journey, right? Which it is. But it's these two people who have these two separate suitcases. You can only bring one suitcase on this trip. So you're going to have to take some of the stuff, unpack.
That's pretty good.
Unpack
Come
some
on,
of the stuff.
that's a clip right there.
you know, on this journey, you got to unpack your stuff from your suitcase.
Yes.
And you can only put what you can fit inside this one suitcase. So that's going to be letting that ego, unpacking that ego, unpacking those past traumas, unpacking all of the negative things that you are bringing in, and packing those things that you do want on that journey.
Yeah.
Like you want that hope, you want that fire, that romance, you want the love, the respect, you know, the patience, the grace.
Yes.
You want to pack all those things for that journey.
Yeah.
And it takes time to learn, you know, but I think one thing is like, I, tell friends, you study your spouse.
Yeah.
Study your spouse and be patient with your spouse and meet them where they're at, see them for who they are, and continue growing together.
That's good.
Yeah, that's good stuff. But like, again, I can't say enough how much I appreciate what y'all are doing.
Yeah.
Like I'm getting long in the tooth, but I feel like it's important for me. I think it's important for those of us who are committed to this to do like that brother did for me in that line.
Yeah.
You know
You
what I'm
gotta
saying?
tell
Like
people.
to tell that story that the good sides, to promote this, and not for like those superficial reasons that you're thinking about that Disney teaches. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Plan more for your life than your marriage.
Yes.
But like I think this is gonna be the key to our progress. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate y'all as a younger couple, bringing on other young couples to tell that story, because it's harder for me to relate to them now because I'm further in and older than it is for y'all to relate to them. You know what I'm saying? And so I think it's dope. You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate it.
We always gonna be here to help out however we can.
I mean, I'm just, like I said, appreciative of you hopped on early. Like, I feel like we've been doing this for like that a long time, but it's really not. It's been
Just
like
a
2
year
years,
and a half.
year and a half, and like you really been there from the beginning. When it was really like looking back, it was like
That's
it's
6
kinda-
months in.
It's kind of like really small, you know what I mean? And you really hopped on, and we've been rolling ever since. So like, I really appreciate your support and stuff like that. And I want to keep building this platform out.
100%.
And like, if we didn't get nothing out of today, it's like, man, like what we doing is we still on the right track.
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
bringing along people, showing people that marriage is. I'd be like, marriage is lit. Marriage is fun.
Marriage
It is
is
what you
fun.
make it.
Yeah.
Like it's not that death sentence. It's not like what they say. Like you put the ball, ball and chain.
ball and
It's
chain.
not the
Yeah.
ball and chain. It's like, I mean, you could get out and have fun. It's not necessarily.
Because we be having a good time.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah.
I see y'all on
Oh
Instagram.
man.
Look.
That was us. That was not
lit.
us.
Oh, yeah.
That is not us.
lit.
That was
We be acting
that
a fool.
tab going up.
Okay. We over here carry the one. How the hell did we get
that
that?
tab going up. But yes, you can have fun and be married. No, it's
Yeah,
not
you
the
can.
selfish single life where everything you want is your way. But
No, compromise,
you
for
get
sure.
something out of, like you said, sacrificing and seeing something grow.
Yeah, it's a different fun. Like I said, like one of these days, what I say on like the weekends, QJ might go where the kids are gone.
Mm-hmm.
We can spend the whole day watching Netflix. You know what
Chilling.
I'm saying? And that's
Yes.
fun. Like
Yes.
this is like marriage gives you an opportunity to know somebody
Man.
at depth and for them to know you. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Like it's a lot of people missing that. Like don't let these folks like in the club or like they're single like fool you.
Yeah.
People are lonely. You know what I'm saying? Like you like lonely and miserable and like you showing you like you lying to people on
Yeah.
like through these social media and
media.
stuff like you lying. You know what I'm saying? Like
That's for
be
real.
honest and like
Yeah.
and this is a way like it's hard but it's also like you work for the you know what I'm saying
It's
you work
work,
hardest
yep.
for the things that are most important to you and yeah so that's what it is like I feel like more folks need to be telling the truth and that's what y'all
Telling
are
the
allowing
truth,
people
yeah.
to do.
I mean, that's
Be
a whole nother,
honest.
that's a whole nother thing. So we gotta wrap up because we're gonna be
Yeah,
here all
before-
night. 'Cause the whole
Yeah,
telling
yeah.
the truth thing, what?
Yeah.
That would get rid of a lot of people's ideologies about marriage because people
Oh,
be out here
absolutely.
lying and trying
Married
to.
couples be lying too.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Married
People be married about
couples,
lying.
yeah.
That's what I'm saying about
Yeah,
being
like
married.
it's
It's like it's not always good.
No.
Right.
Right.
It's gonna be some
Yeah.
bad because people think it's supposed to always be good. And it's like, no, it's
No.
not always good. You gotta work through those
Yeah.
to get to those
Yeah.
old people that you be seeing. And you like, they done been through some
Right.
shit, you know? But anyway.
Before we get out of here, I do want to do something with y'all really quick. So we recently, look, you surprised. Well, I just want to test it out. So we recently started a segment on our indie or individual episodes where where it's just
together.
us, where it's called Sweet and Salty. And it's really to unpack that, to show the good things that happen in marriage, but to also say, look, shit is not always sweet.
Right.
Sometimes it gets salty. So I want to ask y'all both, what is something sweet that's happened in your marriage? So maybe something sweet that Q has done,
like
or
recently.
something sweet Sasha's done within the past month. And then something salty that you was like, bro, I could have done without it. I could have done without that. And y'all can take a
start?
minute because he'll get cut. Oh, go ahead.
I think something sweet that he has done has been to acknowledge what is it? I think just saying thank you and being appreciative for the role that I've kind of stepped into, even though that's like, I feel like I'm a mom, like this is my platform, this is what I do. And I think it's helped me step into my calling, which is talking about my lifestyle and having a place for other moms to, and just people in general to understand like life is crazy, you know? But I think him acknowledging and just saying thank you. Like sometimes you just come home and he'll be like, thank you so much. He's like, I just love you out of this world. Like you have no idea how your support and
That's
how,
sweet.
you know, all this means to me. And for me, I'm like, you know,
Yeah.
melting over here. But yeah, that's something sweet. Should I say salty now?
Yeah, go ahead.
See, that's- yeah.
I'm not that
I'm just playing. I
Bring
am.
out the salty.
Nah.
Yes.
Oh, what have I gotten mad at you recently for? The salty.
Salty about me going out of town.
Oh yeah. I'm about to drop this baby in like 2 weeks, and he so I'm considered high risk, and so we'll find out on Tuesday if we're gonna go at 37 weeks or if they're gonna induce me at 39 weeks, and he's about to be traveling like the first week. So he just got back from a trip last night for 2 days, and then he's gonna be traveling the first part of September, and I'm supposed to be due like the mid
Late
September.
September.
And so I was a little bit salty about that, about his travel. But I think I got over that. Like,
Yeah.
I think it was
That's
like-
good. You can get over it.
Yeah,
It's
it's
good. You can get
still
over it.
salty,
Yeah.
but it's
Still
like,
salty.
yeah.
Like I noticed when I called though, she was in the funk. She get,
No,
she
that
get real
was not
anxious
because
about
of
me
him.
leaving the house.
Yeah, I get anxious
You know a little
about
bit
you.
like about that, Lake.
I feel
Yeah.
the shade for me, Q. Dang, the shots
Hey,
is
He done seen it a couple
Always.
times now. He's like-
Sure do. I'm
she be getting anxious like when it's time to go. I think I sent her this thing on Instagram. But like, yeah, like when it's getting closer to me leaving, like she got like anxiety around and she like, oh, I think I'm gonna have this baby. You know what I'm saying? Like you want to give birth just because I'm gonna go.
It's the travel, okay? Because I get anxious about flying and just traveling in general. There's so much happening in the world, and so of course, as women, we think about different scenarios, but it's more about like, oh my gosh, I don't want to have to experience any of that. So
I think for me, something sweet that she did recently, she surprised me with my mom.
Oh.
My mom came in town and like they, she kept it a secret, but I don't think you told her to come, but like my mom had been reaching out to her
at like 2:30 that day.
Yeah, she's pretty spontaneous, but like she's been working that was a challenge for us early in marriage, like that relationship, and so they've been growing in their relationship here over like the last year or so, and so she just surprised me when my mom came in town because she knows that growing up with just my mother and I, we were very close, and I think in marriage with those kind of early turmoils, one thing you have to do is as a man in a marriage is like, when they talk about this in the Bible, like this leave and cleave stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like your wife becomes like your primary, responsibility, no matter how hard it is, you know what I'm saying? And so anyway, so that's kind of where you gotta, like, if you're gonna stay in this, no matter what you think, you're gonna kind of have to be on that side. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be on that side away from the person that like made you. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, kind of coming from that space to where it was like more of a rift, like she's made a start to bridge that, and so that's very sweet. I would say.
What is salty?
I'm like, I don't remember any salties.
I really can't think of anything salty right now. Like, it's been great. You've been a champ. Like this 2022. She the real MVP. You know what I'm saying? Straight up.
Thanks.
That's good.
Yeah.
Right answer. Good answer. Good answer.
Shut up. Well, thank y'all so much for that. That's the first time we did that, but I like it.
I like it too.
Yeah, I love hearing that from other
I feel
couples.
like that was like a cop out. I need to do something.
Don't make up.
She ain't did nothing. She carrying that baby. She done made you put on some pounds,
I'm sorry about that.
See, we helping people with that.
I'm constantly cooking. He comes home to a home cooked meal like almost every night.
Well, we got one thing. So what do y'all think?
We greedy.
Y'all got extra?
Hey, do y'all
Yes.
do y'all beef at all about hair?
Hair?
We used to.
I guess it depends. It probably is small things, but I'm pretty like relaxed. But
He
I
used
do.
to.
You know what? I do. Because it'd be certain here that I'd be like, I let it go for a little bit, then I'm like, just
Come on, get your stuff.
Just
This
stop.
man will not leave me alone.
Yeah, we be
But some people
like,
got certain things.
Yeah, no, that's where I get salty when she have like a wig. She got like a new wig she want to do, and I'm like, your
That's my
hair
thing.
is
I'm salty.
beautiful. Like, what's wrong with
I like
your
a wig,
hair?
yeah.
That's
You know what I'm
that's
saying?
crazy you said that. I'm like, I'll be the same thing. I'm like, I like it. I don't really like her hair to be like straight and stuff like that. I was like you have kinky hair. I kind of like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like this is
I like a wig
this is like-
sometimes.
I was like, that's about as like where I draw the line right here. I was like, I like it to be a little nappy. You know what I'm saying? Like I like it.
draw the
Like
line.
yeah, cause she be trying to keep it
still wear
straight.
my wig.
I'm like, you look beautiful and all, but like that ain't really just like
Right.
what I necessarily like, and especially like with too many days in a row. I don't want that one no more.
Cameras off. I'm sick of this man.
I don't want that one no more.
He be like, "Ooh, you wore that one now, didn't you?"
Yeah.
He's a
I know we
clown.
pay good money for it, but still, like, I want your regular hair. You know,
up.
but yeah.
Anyway, so
But yeah.
you don't like the wigs?
No.
Salty.
she's never like I never get to see her hair, and her hair is gorgeous. Well, more often than not, she got something covering her hair. You know what I'm saying? So,
Relatable.
But I be trying to give them some slack. Black women, they always. I try and get off her hair sometimes, but sometimes, like you said, you just gotta say something.
Yeah, she educates me. She educates me on the reasoning.
You gotta say something.
Yeah.
She educates me on the reasoning. So
Yeah.
look, you know, she got enough going on.
I'm not gonna
you
be
know,
waking up and
doing your
twist
hair.
outs
Yep.
and, you know.
Yep.
No, especially this heat. Oh my god. No.
Preach.
There we go. There we
Yeah.
go. Yeah. Hey, we know we done held y'all up, man. We had a lot to
no.
say, man. We
Yeah,
appreciate
this is
it.
great.
Nah, this is fun. This was fun. We probably have to do it again.
Absolutely.
We've been thinking about doing like topical stuff, so we might
Absolutely.
bring up something, see if y'all want to sit down and talk about it.
Yeah.
Because she really been wanting to do topic stuff. I'm like, y'all done hit on some stuff that I'm like, oh, we could just sit
Then
here
we
and
could
talk
go
about
in
that.
deeper and
Yeah,
deeper
we can
and
sit here and
deeper,
talk about that.
absolutely.
So maybe it's gonna take a minute. Y'all got the baby and the travel and stuff, but
Facts.
we plan to be around for a while. So
Yes, thank y'all so much for sitting down with us today. We truly appreciate it. Do we have any last minute housekeeping things we need to do?
no, just head over to oldtoblackLove.com. We got that merch up. Make sure y'all following us on social media.
Yes.
At
Ode to Black Love on Instagram and TikTok, and then Ode to Black Love Podcast on YouTube and Facebook.
Yeah, any topic ideas and stuff like that, hit us at our email, info@oldtoblackLove.com. And also, good news. We still taking suggestions on good news.
Oh, yes. So
So-
if you have any good news, send it over to that email.
Yep.
All right. Let that ride.
Peace.
Peace.
Yeah.